I don't see them getting the top slots, but they will squeeze in at that number 3 or number 4 slot to make the playoffs. Let's take a look at some of the wins that they've had throughout the weeks. On the winning streak, they've beaten the Cowboys, which was a gimme game. They've also beaten the Wrecking Crew, who haven't fared so well. But that's still a quality win in my book. And then just recently, they beat they are a real disappointing team this year, and they've underachieved in my mind. Let's move on to the Longhorns. The Longhorns, a lot of people believe that they have a quarterback who will be the future of this league. His name is Troy. He's number 10. This kid, he can deliver the ball, and he has a lot of speed. I wouldn't go as far as saying that this guy is the truth or the future or anything of that nature, because you have to prove yourself year after year in order to have a name like that. But he has a lot of potential, and if he can get this offense rolling, the Longhorns, they're going to be a tough team. Their defense is second in the league right now, allowing just 15.3 points a game. That's been a staple of this team throughout the years. But they have really they've come on in this last game, showing that the offense is going to be able to get it done in the next couple of weeks. Looking at some of their games that are coming up, the first game is against the Panthers, which will be another game that the Longhorns have been looking also forward to after losing a heartbreaker in the playoffs last year. They also have the Bandits or Warriors the following week, which is another tough one. Then they take on the Phoenix, and at the end of the season, this is really going to be the deciding factor, and it's going to be a telltale sign of who's in and who's out. This is going to be the deciding factor. But their game against the Outlaws, which is a rivalry game because they have a lot of people who have played on the Horns in years past from that team, that game is going to decide who's in and who's out, because I think the Longhorns are going to take that number 3 or number 4 seed, and they're going to be a tough team with that defense playing the way that it has in years past and this year. We're going to move on to the Bucks. The Bucks is another surprising team. I didn't expect this team to win a whole lot of games. I think I said they will win 1, maybe 2 games, but man, I got to change my opinion on that after seeing them the last couple of weeks. This is a very, very physical team, and quarterback Carlos and Brother Lewis, they have this team ready to play each and every week. And this is another team you can't sleep on, just as the Phoenix are. This team is very, very physical. And if you're not a physical team, if you're not ready to go up against them and bang some heads, they're going to beat you. And that can be said for the past 2 teams that they beat the last couple of weeks in beating the Wrecking Crew. And then also they've won a game against, I can't remember who they played, but nonetheless they won 2 straight, and that's good enough to show what they have. That's coming off a 2-game losing streak as well. They can expect to slip into that last playoff spot. They're going to be a tough team to be reckoned with as well. Carlos really has his team playing well, has his offense rolling. Vince is doing pretty good. Daniel Decker, he, like I said, a factor in that defense. He's not the only one, so don't get mad, all you other Bucks players. I'm just saying Daniel Decker is a key component to that defense. And if the Bandits and the Panthers aren't able to make a run in this conference play, these 2 teams in the Bucks and the Phoenix, one of those 2 teams are going to slip into the playoffs. Speaking of the Bandits or Warriors, they've had a tough time adjusting to this league. They're used to playing in the 11-man league, and that's where they're coming out of. But they're really underachieving. They have a lot of great athletes, but I think the speed of the game has not caught up to them just yet. They're scoring just 17.3 points a game, which is not good enough in this league to win any game. I don't care who you play. So with the adjustment period, hopefully it's over and they can be another factor in this Northern Conference. But I think it's still going to be another game or two before you see this team really start to roll. Coach White, I know he has a lot of pride and he's going to be tough on his players. But like I said, this is an adjustment period for him. They're used to playing in that 11-man league, and a lot of teams are jumping on them. They did give the Renegades a tough game. They almost won. There was a lot of mental mistakes on the Warriors' part. George, he's teaching his team how to play in 6-man. But like I said, it'll be a few games, and I really don't want to say that they're not going to make the playoffs because they're not the Bandits of old, but they're still a very good team with as many athletes as they have. But if they can't win their first 1 or 2 conference games, they won't make the playoffs. Plain and simple. The Panthers, probably the most disappointing team in the league. This team is 0-3 right now, giving up 29.3 points a game, which is second in the league in points allowed. I'm sorry. Points allowed. They're right behind the Cowboys in giving up as many points. This team, I don't know what's wrong with this team. I don't know what it is, if they changed some of their personnel or if they have internal problems, but whatever it is, they need to get it together because this is a really good team. A lot of people expect this team to make it to the playoffs once again this year and possibly be a top seed in the North. That has not been the case thus far. They've lost games, and let's take a look at some of these scores that they've had over the past few weeks. Week number 1, they lost to the Wrecking Crew, 18-12, pretty close game. Second week, they had a bye. Third week, they played the Renegades, 6 points. 6 points. Enough said. I mean, come on, 44-6. Can't lose like that. I don't care who you playing. You gotta play with some pride and some passion. And then this past week, they lost against the Bulldogs, which is another great team. These are a lot of good teams that they're losing to, but the way that they're losing is pathetic. I mean, they're giving up all these points and not putting up as many points. I'm not saying that they're a bad team, but they really need to get it together. I think they can still make it to the playoffs because right now everybody's 0-0. But they really have to get it done. So here's my prediction for the North. I see the Revolution. No, let's take that back. I'm going to put the Outlaws at that number 1 top seed to make the playoffs. Outlaws number 1, Revolution number 2, Longhorns number 3, and for my last team to make it in, I'm going to surprise everybody. And I know y'all going to eat me up for this one. But the Bucks will slip into the last playoff spot in the North. I'm done. You can roast me if you want to, but I'm telling you, the Bucks, they're going to surprise a lot of teams in the North in conference play this year. And with that, we're going to conclude this first part of our series. We have the second part coming up. We're going to take a look at the South and some of their teams. And then we'll go into a little playoff competition and see where we go from there. I'll see you in the next episode, ladies and gentlemen.